argument that's been made constantly by the Payday industry is that they provided a service that helped people. They provided a service that was less expensive than bounce checks or other late fees, helping people get themselves to their, through short-term emergency. Why didn't those arguments win the day in the end? What was?
Well, Jim, I think, if you look at the original product that was created in 1995, we probably wouldn't be here today if the legislature had put in what's a basic element of any financial piece of legislation, that's underwriting criteria. The problem is that people can go get a maximum of $800 loan from as many as 1,600 stores, which is more than McDonald's, Wendy's, and Burger King throughout the entire state of Ohio, and there's no underwriting criteria. So people thought and sensed they had a need, they could go get a loan, and they could get another loan to pay off that loan, and get a loan to pay off that loan. And what was essentially missing when this carve-out was made in 1995 was the underwriting criteria, was the sensibleness that came with what can somebody have the ability to repay. And that's what we're fixing in this bill, in this law today. And for those, members of the industry that say we were helping people, I have no doubt they were helping people, probably with the first one. But it's the second, the third, and the fourth, and the fifth, and up to number 8, 9, and 10, and 12 that the statistics show that they were getting here were not helping people. And that would be my answer.
Governor, you just said a few minutes ago, Ohio will not tolerate usury, but some people, when they look at bank fees for overdrawn checks and utility payments, late fees for utility payments, they say, well, if you take those fees and you translate them into a yearly percentage, that's usury too. So what would you tell Ohioans about why we have this, in a way, a double standard for what the bank fees are versus these loans?
The speaker had a good answer for that one.
Those situations, first of all, you're purchasing a service and you're not creating a cycle of debt.
Make no doubt about it, there were lots of the mom and pop payday lending places that did provide this service. And we're very careful to make sure that people did not continue the cycle. And those are the people, I think, that will take advantage of the small loan provisions and continue providing that service.
Do you think bank fees right now are reasonable for bounce checks and things like that?
You want my personal opinion? No.
Is there anything Ohio can do about it?
I'll just tell you a little story. In 1992, I paid $2 to take out $20, and I have never used a bank card since then. So consumers have a choice. I'm exercising mine. I don't use their services if they're going to charge me that kind of money.
Will the payday lenders' threat to leave the state to take jobs with them impact the state of Ohio, and does that matter on balance?
I think the Speaker and I both want to say yes, any time that we lose jobs, it matters. But I think for the type of job, we want to replace the job that's taking advantage of people with jobs that are helping people and are also able to generate an income for those people who are in business. And again, I come back to the small loan act provision, and there is opportunity. Does it give the open-end ability to cycle of debt that we're trying to stop? No, it does not. But it certainly answers the need of people in need for that short-term loan at a much lesser rate.
I don't think that it was anyone's goal to try to eliminate jobs. But let's be honest about economic development. There are jobs that are value-added and there are jobs that aren't value-added. And we're trying to create value-added jobs in this state. We've done it through tax reform. We've done it through the jobs package that it's on its way to the governor right now. We are continuing to invest in new types of industries in the state. We're trying to make sure that there's an incentive to invest and earn in Ohio. And those are the ways that you create jobs. You also have to weigh out what the net cost is. There were a lot of jobs in the mortgage industry a while ago. Look what it did to a lot of our neighborhoods in this state. Look at what the cost of that is. The dispatch had a big spread on that over the weekend. There are some things that cost more in total than they do on the surface, and have less value as they work their way through the economy. And we're trying to create good value-added jobs that are going to grow the state of Ohio and create real opportunity here. That's where we need to be focused. That's where the real job creation is going to come from.
You expect the Ohio Financial?
Let me just put a personal note to that. You know, over Memorial Day, I know a lot of elected leaders around the state were at different ceremonies and parades and so forth. And my family and I did 8 of them over a 3-day period. And the one that I was speaking at on Sunday, we had a very good soprano, a young lady that just did a fabulous job with the 2 songs that she did as a part of the ceremony. She came up to me afterwards and gave me her card, and she says, "I'm a manager of 8 Payday loan stores, and I think your bill's going to put me out of business, and I'm going to be looking for a job." And I took her card, and she wrote her number on the back, and I said, "I'll do everything I can to find you a job in the Miami Valley." She lives in Springfield. I said, because the Miami Valley, thanks to our leadership and the administration, is exploding with jobs. We have all kinds of opportunities. And I'll keep your card, and I'll keep passing it out, passing it out, passing it out until you find a job. Will that be okay? She said, "That'll be fine." What I'm looking for, she said, is to work in an industry that gives value to the customer, and I can use my skills to be a part of that. And I said, well, if your employer no longer chooses to be in Ohio, as Senator Harris said, and provide these financial services, we'll make sure we try to find you another job. And she was happy with that. So I think there's going to be a lot of those 6,000 people that's been talked about that are going to find jobs. And I know Speaker Husted and I in particular, we're seeing companies looking for a lot of people in the Miami Valley in particular, because there's a lot of economic development and growth that's coming to that area. So I think we're going to be fine, and I think we're going to find those folks jobs that we need to fill to create and keep our economy moving here in Ohio.
Given the precarious nature of some Ohio financial institutions, do you expect them to leap into this, given the underwriting standards that you discussed, or do you think they'll take a pass on offering these small loans?
Well, I think the traditional financial institutions obviously have their underwriting criteria, have their specifications and their audits that they're looking towards in terms of being able to justify whether they gave someone a loan, that they had the ability to repay, and that the amount was not something that couldn't be handled in a working family's income. I think there's other institutions, credit unions, for example, that are trying to, with their 18% stretch pay, I want to point out, by the way, that it could be 25. That's what's allowed in current Ohio usury law for credit unions, but they choose to offer it at 18 to try to find the middle ground with what in fact they think is reasonable cost. And we did allow, as most of you know, in House Bill 545, the ability for nonprofit organizations to get into this business as well. Half the fee for a license, half the cost of annual renewal, and we gave them a competitive advantage. And I think a lot of community action agencies, we see my director shaking his head, and others I think may get into business. Because it's not going to take a whole lot. There's not a lot of red tape. There's some guidelines and some restrictions and some things that are spelled out that are going to help both that lender and the customer. And before we go on, I just want to mention and introduce to you all those 3 people that went with me to all those parades, and my family's here today. My wife Sally, my daughter Emily, and my son Brian. These are the people that are behind the scenes of every elected leader up here. They really do the work.
Opponents say that lenders tried to land under the Small Loan Act back in the 80s and 90s, basically just found that it wasn't profitable enough for them to continue doing so. What's different now that should allow them to
Well, House Bill 545 didn't make anything different. I think what you're hearing in consensus from all the elected leaders standing up here before you today is our message to them is try again. Try again.